Hello my dear students. In last video we discussed levels of data abstraction such as view level, logical level and physical level. Then we discussed data independence like physical and logical data independence. Today we are going to see part 3 of Introduction to DBMS. So let's start it. In this video, I am going to cover structure of DBMS, that is architecture of DBMS, then this DBMS software used by different users in DBMS, and at the end advantages and disadvantages of DBMS. Structure of DBMS. A database system is partitioned into modules that deals with each of the responsibilities of the overall system. The basic component of DBMS can be divided into three subsystems. First is design tool, which allows to create database forms and reports. Second is runtime facilities. It processes the application created by design tools. Third one is DBMS engine. It works as a translator between design tool and runtime facilities. It is divided into two main parts, that is query processor component and storage manager components. Let us see these main parts in detail. There are many types of users like naive users, application programmers, sophisticated users and database administrators. These different types of users we are going to discuss it in next topic. So these users access this database by different means like through application programs or by querying a database or by accessing the database schema. Now this DBMS engine, it is subdivided into two parts. First part is query processor component and second is storage manager component. So first of all we are going to discuss this query processor component. Query processor component is divided into sub parts. So first one is DDL pre-compiler. When a query is given, that is DML, that is a data manipulation language, it translates these DML statements to low level instructions which a query evaluation engine understand. It also translates the user's request into more efficient form so that query engine finds a good strategy to execute this query. Whenever user gives a query, this pre-compiler will take that query and it will translate it into low level language because users or the programs written or queries written, these are in high level language. This high level language is system cannot understand it, so it is converted into low level language, and this functioning is performed by this DML pre-compiler. It converts it in high level language into low level language and then it is given to this query evaluation engine. Then this query evaluation engine will evaluate this query or understands it and translate a user request in more efficient form so that this query evaluation engine will find a good strategy to execute the query. Next is embedded DML pre-compiler. It converts the DML statements embedded in application program to normal procedure call in host language so that it interacts with DML compiler. Now many programmers write programs plus they write database DML statements there. So this embedded DML pre-compiler will extract that DML statements and it is given to query evaluation engine for further processing. Next is DDL interpreter. This DDL interpreter translates the data definition language statements into set of tables in the form of metadata. So metadata means, all of you know this, data about data, that is a dictionary. Whenever user wants to create a database or table, at that time these DDL statements are used there, that is data definition language, and its definitions are stored in a data dictionary there. Next is query processor, that is this query processor. It executes the low-level instruction passed by DML compiler to fetch the necessary data. This is the function of query processor. Second component is storage management component. These components provides an interface between low-level data stored in a database and application program and queries submitted to the system. So following are the subcomponents of the storage management. First one is authorization and integrity manager. When a query is submitted to a system, it is first checked for authorization of data access, that is, person who executes a query has a right to access or not, that is checked here through authorization. Then query is checked for integrity constraints. So next one is transaction manager. What is transaction? Transaction is a collection of operations that performs a single function in a database application. So transaction manager ensures about the consistency of the database, that is, if the database was in consistent state when transaction is started and when the transaction successfully terminates. It also maintains atomicity. Next is file manager. It manages the allocation of disk space and data structure used to represent information stored on disk. Whatever information we are going to store on a disk, that all these information are managed by this file manager. Next is buffer manager. Now buffer, here the meaning of buffer is temporary storage. So buffer managers, it is responsible to fetch data from disk into main memory, and it also decides which data to cache in memory. Other than these two main components, that is query processor component and storage management components, there are some data structures available which resides in database management system, that is DBMS here. So first one is data files. This stores a database. Next is data dictionary. This stores the information about data in database called as metadata. Next is indices. These different indices are used. This provides fast access to the data items that hold particular file. And next is statistical data. This stores data about data. All the statistical information related to data are stored in this statistical data. So this is about the overall structure of database management system engine. Next topic is users in DBMS. Database users are the people or group of people who interact the database directly or indirectly. DBMS used by various users for various purposes like retrieving or storing data purpose. The users of database system can be classified in the following groups. These groups are on the basis of degree of expertise or the mode of their interactions with database management system. So we have three groups. First is DBMS users, second is database managers, and third is database administrators. First type of user is DBMS users. DBMS provide an environment to store and retrieve information. On the basis of interaction with the system, users are differentiated in four types. First type is application programmer. These are computer professionals. They are responsible for developing application programs. For development of application programs, these people used a general purpose programming languages like C, C++, Java, etc. Through these programs, they handle or manipulate the databases. Second type of user is DBMS user is sophisticated or online users. These people are also computer professionals, but they do not write programs. To interact with the system, they use query languages like SQL. These are users who may communicate with the database directly via online or indirectly via a user interface and application programs. These users are aware of the presence of the database system and have limited interaction with database through application programs. The more sophisticated of these users may also use a data manipulation language to maintain the database directly. They are also called online users. Third type of user is specialized users. They write specialized database application which do not fit into traditional data framework. For example, computer aided design system like CAD or CAM, which are used for engineering or architecture based tasks. Then second example is knowledge base and expert systems. These are related to particular specialized system. For example, hospital. In hospital, knowledge base or expert systems are used, and based on that, the disease of the patients are find out there. So these systems stores data with complex data types. For example, they stores graphic data into audio data, and environment modeling systems are used here. Next is fourth one is naive users, or they are also called as unexperienced users. These are the users who are not aware of the presence of database system or any other system. These users are called as unsophisticated users who interact with the system through already written permanent programs. These are also these users are also called as end users. These end users access data from the terminal end. They use developed application and they don't have any knowledge about the design and working of database. For example, ATM. So whenever customer or user goes to withdraw some money at ATM, at that time that user does not have any knowledge about how internally ATM machine functions. He doesn't know that. So such a type of users are called as uh, naive users or unexperienced user, because they don't have any knowledge about the design and working of the database. Second type of user is database manager. Database requires a large amount of storage space. So storing the database requires secondary storage. It is essential that a database system structures the data to minimize the need to move data between disk and main memory. So database manager is a program module which provides the interface between low level data stored in the database, the application programs, and the queries submitted to the system. The database manager is responsible for the following tasks. First is interaction with file manager. The raw data is stored on the disk using file system, which is usually provided by conventional operating systems. The database manager translates the various data manipulation language statements into low-level file system commands. Thus, the database manager is responsible for the actual storing, retrieving, and updating of data in the database. Second is integrity enforcement. The data values stored in the database must satisfy certain types of consistency constraints. Here constraints means condition. For example, the number of hours employee may work in 1 week may not exceed than some specific, for example, 80 hours. Otherwise, appropriate action is taken by database manager. Third is security. Security to user is provided by database manager to access only required data. Now this security is provided by different means like passwords, etc. Fourth one is backup and recovery. In case of hard disk crash or power failure or software errors, database manager have responsibility to detect such failures and restore the database to normal state. Next one is concurrency control. Controlling the interaction among the concurrent users is the responsibility of the database manager. Third type of user is a database administrator. They are called as DBA. DBA is a person who have good knowledge of data processing. He must have sufficient technical knowledge to make wise decisions in the organization. He must manage the staff to ensure orderly development of the database project, to satisfy database users, and to plan for future database requirements. The responsibilities of DBA are decide information contents of the database, that is, decides conceptual and internal schema. Then create data dictionary, that is metadata, so users can query the dictionary. Then he must decide storage structures and access strategy, that is which users can retrieve what information. Next one is he defines authorization checks and validation procedure, that is he checks validity before giving access. Next one, he defines strategies for backups and recovery. Next, he defines security and integrity rules. Here integrity means correctness and completeness of data. And he also monitors the system performance. So all these are the different responsibilities of DBA. Advantages and disadvantages of DBMS. Now here first of all we are going to discuss advantages. First advantage is cost of software development is reduced. Here for developing any software and by using database management system, software development cost is reduced. Then centralization for multi-user is available. All of you know that database management system is a multi-user system where centrally data is located in a database and many users can access this data at the same time. So as centralization is there, so third point, it reduces centralization reduces management problems and duplication of data. Next is data is independent. Independently data is stored on different users system. Users can monitor database performance. Next, data redundancy and consistency are controllable. Next one, program and data interdependency is decreased. As our data is stored centrally, so there is interdependency between program and data is decreased. Data flexibility is increased. Then data integrity and its quality is maintained. Now all of you know that integrity means correctness and completeness of the data. So that correctness and completeness of data is there, though, so its quality is there, and all these are maintained here by using database management system. Then inconsistency of data is avoided. Same data can be shared by many application programs, and security to data is provided by database management system. So as there are some advantages, there may have some disadvantages also. So first is cost of software and hardware is more. As we have centralized system or distributed system, so we have to connect all these multiple users at the same time. So for that purpose, hardware or software cost is more there. Then problem with centralized data. That problem is when our data is centrally located, and when that central software, database management software get what we say get that server is not functioning properly there, so our all data goes down there. So multiple users can't access that data because of centralization. Then problems with backup and recovery of database. Whenever any type of power failure, natural disasters or system failure occurs, at that time that system must have that system's backup must be there, and that system must recover from that failure. So there may some problems occur with this issue. Because of data sharing by various users, response given by the system slower down and time taken by the system is more. So as it is a multi-user system, so data is get shared by multiple users, so your system may get slower down there, and time is more time is required here. So all these are the different disadvantages of DBMS. Now next is summary. We covered structure of DBMS, that is architecture of DBMS, then users in DBMS, and at the end advantages and disadvantages of DBMS. Here our chapter 1, that is introduction to DBMS, is over. Now in next video we will start our second chapter, that is conceptual design. Have a nice day. Thank you. Thank you very much.